What is going on, guys?
Hey, how's it going?
Today, I am going to be bringing you three more albums from 1991. This is what, part 5 or some shit now for the Forgotten Albums series for 1991. So, please, if you haven't checked out any of the previous 1991 episodes or any of the other year episodes of Forgotten Metal albums and Forgotten bands, check the description below and I will give you the whole playlist. So, but for today, we are going back to 1991, and I got three more here on the hair metal, sleaze metal side of things, soul metal, even some people would describe it as. So the first one here is going to be from a band that is kind of like a cult classic. Sometimes they even get lumped in the goth metal subgenre, if you will, because there was like no real place to put that. It didn't really sound like anything at the time when they came out in '89. But we're going to be talking about their second album today, and that is going to be Bang Tango's Dancin on Coals. So, yeah, I know a lot of people will say that they prefer the first album, the debut album, Psycho Cafe. And I'm not here to disagree with that. I'm not here. I mean, I could go either way with both these albums because both of them are good, but they are a little different at the same time. So, like the first album on Psycho Cafe, you had a real in your face style, edgy funk, just great riffs all the way around, like good lyrics all the way around. But you could tell that was like a band's first album. And I think when you get to the second album here with Dancin on Coals, it's kind of like it feels somewhat that Bang Tango was on their fourth album. Meanwhile, they're only on their second. Like they jumped in their sound. Now it's still rock, still funk, still metal. Like it's it just sounds more mature. Now, yes, we are in 1991, 1992, 1993. These bands, these sleaze bands, these glam bands, these hair metal bands were being more mature. They were growing up as well, certainly the older ones. And it was just kind of changing. Like the Toughs, the Tricksters, they were kind of Pretty Boy Floyds. They were kind of like, we're kind of tired of that, like subject matter, for the most part. And a lot of sleaze bands were going to this style of feel, to the sleaze and such. So, as far as this album goes, you had the single here, Untied and True, which is a good song, but I don't know if I would necessarily start off this album with that single, though. But a good song nonetheless. Soul to Soul is the lead off track. Real good. You get the horns right away. And that's what's cool about this album, too. And, there's at least a couple songs on this album. And even on, if I'm not mistaken, I think, I don't know if I can't think if the debut does have horns. I might have to think about that one. But I think horns belong in metal. Now, I want it on every song and like in every riff and all over the place? No, it's good in spots. Same with like piano. Same with a lot of different instrumentation. I think it works in spots, and I think Bang Tango here does a good job at that, picking those spots. So you have Emotions in Gear, and then you have I'm in Love, which are kind of like a little bit two ballad styles, two slower style songs. But I gotta say, Midnight Struck is a very good ballad. Has to be probably in my top 50 ballads of all time. It's just that good. Dancing on Coals, the title track, awesome stuff there. Last Kiss, though, the 10th track. So you got 11 tracks here on this album, but the 10th track here is Last Kiss. That has to be my favorite song off of this. I just like the mid-tempo feel of it. Like the lyrics, Joe does a good job on both these albums, but I dig what the whole band and Joe was doing with this album. Like I said, adding in the horns, adding in like this. They even went even a little bit more gothic feeling. It's just the atmosphere of this album. And even one of the tracks here is called "Dressed Up Vamp." So certainly it has that feel to it, and I just like I said, I'm not here to debate which album is going to be on my top 50. One of these will. One of these Bang Tangos will be on my top 50 hair metal albums list, and I just don't know which one it's going to be. But I do find myself defending this album a lot. Now there are people that do like this album, but like I said, I think a lot of people's issue is the production because it feels like Bang Tango's third or fourth album in maturity wise than say their debut, which sounds like a debut from young or from teenagers or younger 20 guys, year olds. So certainly I would say check out Dancing on Coals. I like it. It did only reach like what 115 in the top 200 Billboard chart, so it didn't really do that well. And I think honestly, Untied and True was the only music video, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong on that, but I mean, like it was just 1991, wrong time, wrong place for this album to come out. And where do you put this band? Because this Bang Tango is not your typical hair metal band. It's like they just put them in the category of hair metal. Same kind of thing with Love Hate, somewhat. Not that they really sound like Love Hate, but same type of deal. It's like, where do you put this band? Oh, they have long hair and they have a certain look and they have a somewhat of a certain sound. So let's just throw them in here with what's somewhat like popular, at the time. And it's just nothing. I don't know. I don't know what else to say. Why it didn't do well. So yeah, MCA, RCA, SPCA, doesn't matter what the fuck it is, the abbreviation is, you're not going to get the promotion for it in 1991. You're just not anything off those labels. It's just not going to happen. So sad to say, but that is why we're talking about it today here, because it is somewhat of a forgotten album. If you think the debut's a forgotten album, this is even more of a forgotten album. So definitely check out Dancing on Coals from Bang Tango, guys, especially if you like that soul feel style of your metal. All right, going on here to the second pick. And I'm quite excited to talk about this one because I've had this one. I don't think I was in high school. I think it was like a year or two after high school. And that is going to be Outlaw Blood's debut album, self-titled.
Hey, now you speak my language here.
Because I'm excited, like I said, to talk about this because I wasn't sure if anyone would have known if I did a video on Outlaw Blood, like just a review, just singly. So obviously it's going to be going in this to help push out people finding Outlaw Blood. But ever since I had it, since like a year or two after high school, I never seen anyone talk about it up until recently. Someone did comment on one of my videos and said, "Hey, you should do an Outlaw Blood." And I'm like, "Oh fuck yeah, that's cool. That's awesome." Because it's a great album. Now this is a little bit more on the bluesy sleaze side of things. Kind of like a Graveyard Train. That type of deal.
Okay, fellas, let's try one with that Memphis sound. Deep inside my heart, take one.
Or like a Gothard, Dial Hard from 1994, something like that. And the way I came across this album, though, actually, is as you can see here, the cover, the album artwork is just badass. Like any kind of artwork like this, even like XYZ's Hungry, like that's just cool. Has that old cartoon style feel to it. And like I was scrolling on eBay because I used to like my record stores around here when I was younger did not. There wasn't really much new release stuff from these record stores around here. At least the ones I went to, a lot of it was used. But so I had to get a lot like my new stuff off of eBay. And I remember like you would just like click on the like eBay filter tab and you would like put in CDs and then you put hair metal or like glam metal or whatever it is. And then like I would just scroll, like go like cheapest to like most expensive or whatever, the filter would be. And one time I came across it and I seen this uh album cover and I'm like, oh shit, that actually looks pretty cool. And Outlaw Blood, that sounds cool. Like I had heard nothing from them and like you can't find too much information at all. And they did have a music video for Body and Soul, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. But this is on Atco Records, so another one of those record labels that you just don't hear much about. Now they were like around in the 70s and such like that. But yeah, I can't even think of another band from the 80s that was on Outgo off the top of my head. So But yeah, so like I just came across it for like $5 and it was still like brand new. Like I mean, technically it's out of print, but it was brand new still and like $5. Now, granted, guys, this was like 15 years ago or so, or maybe 10, 12 years ago. So like this stuff was still somewhat, even the out of print stuff was still manageable to get. And I was just happy. I just seen the cover and I'm like, oh yeah, let's get this. And then I was certainly not disappointed with it. So, but like I said, you had that. It's like a dirty, sleazy, bluesy feel to it. Um, Body and Soul, like I said, is a very good song. You lead off with Tower of Love, fine. Last Act is a sleazy, gritty, uh, slow sex song though. Like it's just like it has everything working for it. Just like when you're listening to it, you're like you just feel like slimy, but in a good way though. It's really good. Certainly one to look or to listen to. Now, Every Day I Die is a damn good ballad. Here is another one that will probably make top 50 ballad for me of all time. Awesome stuff. I'm in Shock has a nice like chorus riff to it, like that you can sing along to. Oh my gosh. But I will say Slave to Love. This is the song that I found when I looked up like on YouTube to see what they would sound like before I got the album. Slave to Love is a mid-tempo blues, like slide guitar stuff going on. It's so goddamn good. Easily my favorite song on the album, and that's even fighting with Last Act and Every Day I Die. Like I said, is a top 50 ballad for me. But Slave to Love is a song I remember when I first heard it, and yesterday when I listened to this album again, like this song goes on a lot of playlists, and it sounds still just as good as I heard it yesterday as it did 15 years ago when I bought this album. So yeah, 11 tracks. Good stuff here. But like I said, those three tracks certainly check out first. I would say Last Act, Every Day I Die is the ballad, and then Slave to Love if you like your bluesy style slide guitar songs. But man, it's just a shame that these guys just didn't last. I mean, obviously 1991, not much was gonna last after after 91, 92, especially for a debut band and album coming out. It's just a shame because it sounded good. I know some people don't like this album. I seen people post on Facebook, but then again, they're not really like hair metal fans to begin with. So like, I can be like, okay, I see why you're just talking shit about it now. You know, like just because you're not a fan of this genre.
Those little assholes get out of line. I'll personally kick the shit out of them.
I had no information on like how it sold. Obviously, it didn't sell well because hardly anyone I know knows about it. So you know, take that for what you will. But it's one up there with me. It fights in the spot of a top 50 hair metal album. I don't think it's gonna make it, but man, that doesn't take anything away from like how much I enjoyed it since I bought it like a decade and a half ago, which is crazy to say. So check out Outlaw Blood, self-titled from 1991.
Hey, this is Michael Kelly Smith from Brittany Fox. You're watching the Crash Course Metal Show. Rock on.
All right, so for our last pick here, and if you guys enjoyed this video and what we do on the channel here, we bring you guys the forgotten albums, forgotten bands from the past, present, and future. Please click the subscribe button. Comment. Let me know some more albums that you guys think is just forgotten or bands that are just forgotten, because that's what we like to do here. You know, that's what drives this train. You know, is to bring, not to talk about AC/DC or Bon Jovi or Kiss, like all the big bands. No, we like talking about these small bands that were probably even better than the big acts, and certainly get tired of hearing all the big acts, no doubt. But so let us jump in here to the third one, and that is going to be New York Boys, actually, and that is going to be Tigg Ketler. So the album is Don't Come Easy from 91. Now, if you guys are familiar with Danny Vaughan and the boys, they were in a band before called Wasted, like as you can see behind me, which had the UFO bass player, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not real keen on UFO. I have some of their stuff, but like it's just not a band I visit much. So I'm pretty sure it was the UFO bass player that was in Wasted as well. And Johnny D was in Wasted before he went to Brittany Fox. But obviously, Johnny D is not in Tigg Ketler because he's in Brittany Fox at this point doing Bite Down Hard in 91. So, But I will say this album, I don't know how it didn't get big. Now, obviously, it is off Geffen Records, so their mind and money is like everywhere else at this point because what you got Guns N' Roses taking up all the rock money probably, and then you got like all the different kinds of music coming in as well. So I can see why this just didn't get promoted or anything like that. But if you have normies listening to radio or just listen to your playlist or whatever, this is an album. Even if they don't like rock or metal, this is an album that they can listen to. Songs off of this that they can listen to. That is just like, how isn't this a hit on just like mainstream radio? How like you could? There are 10 tracks on this album. 8 of them could easily be on mainstream radio, whether that's rock mainstream, whether that's just pop. What you can put it anywhere and people would like it, have something to like about it. There's not an album that I can really say. I mean, yes, there are a couple, but this is certainly would be one of them that I would recommend to someone that's not in the rock or metal and be like, you guys would probably enjoy this. Like, here, warm your feet up here with this. Warm your ears up with this, before you come over here to the, heavy side of things. So, well, and not that hair metal is heavy, but, just in the metal sphere in general. So, definitely you got Forever Young, which was a music video single. Good stuff. Then you got Wings coming in here. Really good. Like that's like a mainstream song that could like just be played anywhere on radio, and I don't see how girls, guys, kids, old people wouldn't enjoy that song. Same thing as with like Seasons or Nothing But Love. Like these songs could easily be on the radio. I don't. Someone at Geffen dropped the ball, I think, on this album. Other than it being the year 91. But you also have Standing Alone, which this is kind of a theme. I didn't plan this at all, but this ballad could easily be a top 50 ballad, top 30 ballad for me. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't plan that with these 3 albums, but certainly because like my ballad playlist is like 3 days long. So like there's plenty of songs from a lot of subgenres of metal, and I'm not just saying it just out of my ass. Like it would be a top 50 ballad for me. So, and then you have a fun one here with Lay Your Body Down. That's a fun song. I remember I was roughly in high school cuz like I didn't find this album until like after high school, probably like maybe 6-8 years ago. But I knew songs off of this album, like Last FM, if everyone remembers that. It was like an app that played stuff. They that's where I got like a lot of my like new age glam bands. Like Reckless Love and shit like that. Wigwam. Like that's where I got to hear a lot of the singles from them. But they would throw in like 80s stuff as well, and Lay Your Body Down was one of them. And I was like, oh, that's a good song. So that song always stayed with me throughout the years until I was able to get the album and discover everything else. So yeah, like in the last track, Sail Away. Come on. Just a good song. Like these are just good songs, well sang, well written, well played. Like it's crazy to me how this didn't really do much. It's very digestible for anyone. Like I said at the top, very digestible for anyone to listen to, even a normie, even someone that doesn't like metal or rock, hard rock. It's just a shame that kind of just got passed by. Even today, like, I mean, they're from somewhat around here, like on the East Coast here, and like you don't really hear too much. Like, I see Danny going around and stuff, Danny Vaughan, the vocalist, but like you don't really hear Tigg much. You don't hear about that album, and it's a shame. Like deep in the circles in in our cults, you do, but yeah, generally speaking, like not much at all. You might hear the single "Forever Young" on Sirius XM, but good luck trying to find anything else being played anywhere else. So, yeah, that's certainly a good album. One of my favorites. Well, I would say one of my favorites the last couple years. It's really grown on me because like the first time I listened to it, I liked it. I liked it. It was all good and stuff. But the past like year or two, I've been visiting a little bit more, and I'm like, man, this is really well done. Like it's not like you're like the other two, you're sleazy and stuff like that. This is just well done, easily digestible. You can listen to it anytime. Anyone can listen to it too. So it's not, certainly on the heavier side of things, I would say. Uh, so like, yeah, you just play this in the background, just have a good time with it. No doubt. But you can do that with all three of the albums, depending on your heaviness scale, if you will. Alrighty, guys, that is the three. Let's go through real quick. We had Bang Tango, Dancing on Coals. Can't go wrong with Bang Tango, guys. Then you had Outlaw Blood with a self-titled album. And then you have here Tigg Ketler, Don't Come Easy. Check them out, guys. Very good albums. Quite happy we finally got to number 5. It been doing some other things here on the channel and haven't really been able to get to the forgotten albums, but I still got a stack over here throughout the years to get to, guys, and a lot of titles, a lot of albums. Certainly no shortage of albums that are forgotten throughout the years that I've been collecting ever since I was probably like 12, 13. So yeah, there's plenty to be had here, and we are having plenty more chapters and episodes here from the Forgotten Albums. So stick around, subscribe to the channel. Leave me a comment as well. What you think of these 3 albums, and also let me know some of your forgotten albums from 1991.
Talk to me.
But guys, thank you so much for watching the Krash Kourse Metal Show. If you guys enjoyed this video, check out this one right here. And as always, stay out of that collateral damage.
Yeah, I wrote that. It's called I Want to Rock Your Body. And then in parentheses it says to the break of dawn.